Hello everyone. Today we have to discuss about protein-based nanostructure. In previous class, we have discussed various other types of nanomaterials. Okay, so proteins also used for preparation of nanomaterials. Okay, so the key role of protein-based nanostructure has recently revolutionized the nanomedicine, and protein nanoparticles have turned out to be the major ground for the transformation of different properties of conventional materials. Okay, as we know that the nanoparticles has or enhance the surface area to volume ratio. So here, in case of protein nanoparticles, this principle has to be uh, exploited. Okay, and these are the learning objective of today lecture. To know about how proteins used in nano machines assembly, and to understand proteins as a nanowire for biosensing, and to know about how nanotechnology related with the proteomics. So, proteins and nanoparticles have better biocompatibility and biodegradability as compared to the other types of nanoparticles. Okay, and also have the possibilities for surface modification. These nanostructures can be synthesized by using proteins like albumin, gelatins, whey proteins, gliadin, legumins, elastin, gene, soya proteins, milk proteins, and the techniques for their fabrications uh, include emulsification, desolvation, complex conservation, and electrospray, and the characterization parameter of protein nanoparticle comprise particle size, particle morphology, surface charge, drug loading capacity, determination of drug entrapment, and particle structure. Okay, and that's why in this lecture we have to focus on the proprietary method of preparation. Okay, and application of protein-based nanoparticles. Okay. So this picture represents the various aspects of protein nanoparticles. Okay. So as we have to see that proteins are kind of natural polymers that show unique functionalities and properties in biological materials and manufacturing field. And there are numerous nanomaterials which are derived from proteins like albumin, gelatins, and these nanoparticles have promising properties like biodegradability, non-antigenicity, metabolizability, and surface modifier, greater stability during in vitro storage, and relatively easy to prepare and monitor the size of particles. That's why these protein nanoparticles have the ability to attach covalently with the drug as well as ligand. Okay, that's why the protein nanoparticles can be used in various targeted therapy. Okay, like pulmonary delivery and cancer therapy, tumor therapy, vaccines. Okay, and protein nanoparticles can be incorporated into biodegradable polymer in the form of microsphere for controlled and sustained released formulation. Okay, that's why uh, here we have to see that the protein nanoparticles have various advantages. Okay, as they help in reducing toxicity or enhance the release of drug, improve bioavailability, and provide better formulation opportunity. And protein nanoparticles are able to show better action at minimum dose resign, and also decrease the drug resistance in the body. And furthermore, the rate of dissolution and surface area of drug uh, in the nanoparticles can also be enhanced. Okay, and the nanoparticles can be delivered via using various route of administration like oral administration, vascular administration, inhalation. Okay, that's why there are many factors here to protect and preserve the drug while incorporating into the system without any chemical reaction. Okay, so that's why the synthesis of protein nanoparticle approaches are discovered, like modulation can be made into the choice of matrix constitution, site specificity. Okay, so this property can be achieved by attaching targeting ligand to the surface of particles. The system can be used for various route of administration, and the nanoparticles can improve the solubility and stability of encapsulated drug. Okay, is the rule of nature, and each and everything in the universe has some positive and negative impact. So here there are some problems associated with protein nanoparticles, as the particles can interact with living organisms, may cause the toxicity that depend upon chemical composition and the molecular size of protein nanoparticles. Okay, and the size of particles uncontrolled level, which can further affect the delivery of the system. So there is a basic lack of understanding of the biological behavior of nanoparticles in terms of distribution and in vivo, both at the organ level and the cellular level. There are less work available in the field of toxicity of nanoparticles, and nanoparticles have high free energy due to their size, and this cause aggregation and agglomeration of protein nanoparticles, and protein nanoparticles are slow biodegradable, which might cause systemic toxicity and reduce the ability to adjust dose. So several positive and negative aspect of protein nanoparticle is there. Okay, and this table shows the various excipients that used for the synthesis of protein nanoparticles. Okay, so one by one we have to discuss these excipients. So first of all, albumin. So albumin is an attractive macromolecule carrier which can be obtained from a variety of sources, including egg white, bovine serum albumin, human serum albumin. Okay, and it is water soluble protein which utilized in maintaining the osmotic pressure, binding and transport of nutrient to the cells, and it is also soluble in diluted salt solution. Okay, and it can be heated up to 60 degrees Celsius and up to 10 hours without showing any kind of denaturation effect. And albumin is widely used in the preparation of nanosphere. Okay, and even a nano capsule also be prepared by the use of albumin, and these albumin nanocarrier are non-toxic and biodegradable and are easy to prepare, and these nano carrier are non-immunogenic, have well-defined size, and also carry some reactive group like thiol group, amine group, carboxylic group, and that can work as a ligand binding unit or surface modifier agent for the functionalization of protein nanoparticles. And the advantage of ligand binding albumin is that it can be easily attached by covalent linkage, and the drug entrapped in the albumin nanoparticles can be easily digested by the enzyme like protease. Okay, and the polymer-based nanoparticle were formulated by using bovine serum albumin with the dissolution techniques, and the purpose was to increase drug aqueous solubility and sustain released and targeted therapy in breast cancer. Okay, and the second proteins that can be used for the preparation of protein nanoparticles is gliadin. So, gelatin is the most ancient proteinaceous material, which is used for the formation of nanoparticles. It is derived from controlled hydrolysis of fibrous insoluble proteins and collagen, which is obtained from the skin, bones, connective tissue. And gelatin is considered to be the biodegradable base for any nanoparticulate formation. And gelatin is biodegradable, non-toxic, and easy to cross-link. And due to some hydroxyl group like amino group, phenol group, guanidine group, and imidazole group, the gelatin was emerged as a potential system for the preparation of colloidal drug delivery system. And it has another significant advantage that it can be sterilized and inexpensive, non-toxic, non-contaminated with pyrogens, and has a relatively low antigenicity. And the negative aspect of formulation consisting gelatin explains that the outer layer of gelatin can cause cross-linking of intermolecular and intramolecular with respect to time, temperature, and humidity. So to overcome these problems, some chemical cross-linker can be used like glutaraldehyde were added to the formulation, which gives stability and shape and also enhance the circulation time for in vivo study. Okay. And the third proteins that can be used for the preparation of protein nanoparticles is gliadin and legumin. And gliadin is a gluten protein that extracted from wheat. And gliadin appears to be suitable polymer for the oral and topical drug delivery system. And gliadin is generally used for the preparation of mucoadhesive formulation because it has capability to adhere on the mucous membrane, and its excellent properties, namely biocompatibility, biodegradability, natural occurrence, non-toxicity, and stability, make it a suitable candidate as a drug delivery system. And the gliadin and legumin has hydrophobic nature, and solubility of gliadin and legumin permit the nanoparticles to protect the loaded drug for its controlled and sustained released environment. And and gliadin exhibit a great tropism, like indicative growth toward upper gastrointestinal region, and has shown less presence toward intestinal region. And gliadin is rich in neutral and lipophilic amino acid residue, whereas neutral amino acid promote hydrogen bonding with mucous membrane, and lipophilic amino acid that interact with biological tissue via hydrophobic interaction. Okay. And the next protein that can be used for the preparation of protein nanoparticles is elastin. And elastin is an essential component in connective tissue that allow maintaining the elasticity and tensile strength of the tissue. And the cross-linking in elastin occur by two polyfunctional amino acids, that is desmosine and isodesmosine, and they are formed by oxidative deamination of 3 out of every 4 lysine side chain. So the elastin was formed through lysine mediated cross-linking with its soluble precursor tropoelastin. And there are two types of elastin derived from polypeptides that have been used for drug delivery system, like alpha O elastin that undergoes aggregation under selective condition of concentration and temperature, called cloud point. When the temperature is raised above cloud point, then elastin is starting forming complex. And second is elastin-like polypeptide or repeated peptide polymer sequence. These polypeptides are derived from tropoelastin and undergo an inverse phase transition, which promote temperature-dependent aggregation. Okay, so the elastin-like polypeptides are highly soluble. Okay, and the third protein that can be used for the protein nanoparticle, the gene. So gene consists of rich prolamine protein that contain hydrophobic amino acid and proline and glutamine. And gene is highly used for films and coatings. And gene was approved by FDA is generally recognized as safe polymer for human consumption. And nanoparticles formed from gene protein have been prepared to encapsulate several drugs and bioactive compounds, including coumarin, 5-fluorouracil, and it has been found that in vitro release of coumarin was also reported to be over 9 days from gene. Okay, so it could be used as a sustained release drug delivery system. Okay, and another protein that could be used for the preparation of nanoparticles or protein nanoparticles is soya proteins. So soya proteins is the most abundant source of plant protein, and the enriched form of soy protein is known as soy protein isolates, which is reported to be highly nutritional value and ingredient functionalities. The important component for soy proteins isolate is glycinin and beta glycinin, and upon addition of cross-linking agent, soya proteins isolate forms aggregate, and at certain temperature microsphere, hydrogel or polymer blend were formed, and soya proteins nanoparticles can be prepared by addition of either dissolution agent or glycerin fraction of deflated soya flour extraction using a simple conservation method. Okay, and the synthesized soy protein nanoparticles are explored for the nutraceuticals and encapsulation. Okay, and another proteins that could be used for the preparation of protein nanoparticles is milk protein. And milk consists of several kinds of proteins with different function and properties. And the use of milk protein as a drug delivery vehicle is a new trend that has received much attention. And there are two milk proteins which were used in drug delivery, like beta lactoglobulin and casein. And the beta lactoglobulin consists of two disulfide bonds and one free thiol group. That's why the beta lactoglobulin has good gelling ability, which was exploited as a drug delivery. Another milk protein is casein, which exists as a micely size of range approx 100 to 200 nanometer, and this is generally used for the transportation of calcium and amino acid. And mycelium of calcium have no fixed structure. By the change in the temperature, pH, ion strength, and water activity, casein can be withstand heat and mechanical stress. Okay, and the prepared milk protein coated magnetic nanoparticle enabling oral drug delivery with high stability in the stomach and enzyme responsive release in small intestine. Okay, so it could be used as a targeted drug delivery. And now various formulation techniques that used for the preparation of protein nanoparticles. So a large number of macromolecules were used in the preparation of nanoparticles, and the macromolecules are albumin, gelatin, legumin, and these macromolecules are extensively used because of their natural properties, including biodegradability, biocompatibility, and during the formation of protein nanoparticles, there will be conformational change, namely composition and concentration, and the chemical change like pH, ionic change, okay, and the type of solvent or protein. So, usually to stabilize these conditions, surfactant are used. Okay. So the first method which could be used for the preparation of protein nanoparticle is emulsification method. So initially, this method was first discovered by Sheffield and his co-worker to prepare aluminum sphere, but his work was reconducted by Go and his co-worker in 1995. And in this method, an aqueous phase of aluminum was prepared, with distilled water and organic phase plant oil such as cotton seed oil, and the oil and water phase was mixed in the container under mechanical homogenizer until an oil water emulsion was prepared, and the emulsion will prepared will be added into the preheat oil over 120 degree drop by drop. Now there will be evaporation of water and irreversible destruction of albumin, which lead to formation of nanoparticles, and the resulting particles were suspended in a cold ice bath. Okay, so this is the method or emulsification method of preparation of protein nanoparticles, and another method for preparation of protein nanoparticles is desolvation method, and this method was given by Marty and his co-worker, and this method is also called conservation method. Under this method, a desolvation agent such as natural salt, alcohol was added into the aqueous solution of albumin, and by adding of dissolution agent, the protein start changing its structure slowly, and at a certain level, proteins clump will be made, and finally, nanoparticles will form due to cross-linking. And to separate the particles, the turbidity of the system should be increased. Okay. And another method for preparation of protein nanoparticles is complex conservation method. And this method is generally suited for the DNA entrapment. Since proteins are amphoteric in nature, they can be made cationic or anionic by adjusting the pH. So in this method, protein in aqueous solution were taken. Then the pH was adjusted due to the particle with a positive charge coming upward. Then a mixture of DNA and some solution was prepared and added into the prepared aqueous protein solution. By the interaction of DNA and protein, the complex conservation occur, and addition of cross-linker like EDC was done to obtain the cross-linking DNA-loaded protein nanoparticle. So DNA is physically entrapped in the protein matrix, and there is an alternative method in which a cationized protein was used to form complex with DNA. And this is a cationic gelatin was taken and attached covalently to colamine. So the gelatin nanoparticle were prepared by conservation using acetone as a desolvation agent, followed by cross-linking agent like glutaraldehyde, and colamine was conjugated with a surface of gelatin nanoparticle, and DNA was absorbed. Okay, and another method for preparation of protein nanoparticles is electro spray technique. And electrospray is a new technique that used in the preparation of protein nanoparticles. And this technique is generally used for gliadin and elastin peptide nanoparticles preparations. And in this method, high voltage is applied to the protein solution supplied through an emitter, which emit a liquid jet stream through a nozzle, which helps in forming an aerosolized size liquid consisting of drug and nucleic acid. And so, in that way, the nanoparticle has to prepared by the use of electron spray technique. Now, the evaluation of various parameter of protein nanoparticles. Okay, so what are the parameter which could be evaluated? Okay. So this table shows the various parameter that could be explored. Okay. So it you could see that the particle size. Okay. So the particle size is very important parameter in case of preparation of nanoparticles. So due to their size and mobility, nanoparticles have higher intercellular uptake as compared to the microsphere. And it was also reported that nanoparticles have the ability to cross bond blood-brain barrier due to their opening of tight junction by hyperosmotic pressure that helps to give a sustained release of therapeutic agent. That's why the party size is very important parameter. and the technique which could be used for the characterization of nanoparticles, photon correlation spectroscopy. And in this method, the time decay of near particle caused by the Brownian motion, which helps to evaluate nanoparticles via Stokes-Einstein relation, and the interpretation of particle size is least ambiguous with a narrow distribution, and effective diameter and polydispersity index are measurable even with a broad distribution. And the major disadvantage of this method is it does not produce a high resolution histogram of the size distribution of protein nanoparticles. And dynamic light scattering also used to observe the particle size of random pattern in suspension, which compare large particle size to smaller particle size. And particle morphology to observe the physiochemical properties which lead to revolutionize electronic diagnostic and therapeutic applications. And atomic force microscopy used for the direct measurement of microstructural parameter, and unveiling the intermolecular forces at a nanoscale level with the atomic revolution characterization. And scanning electron microscopy helps to identify the signals that derive from electron sample interaction that reveal information about the sample, including external morphology, chemical composition, crystalline nature, orientation of material that used for synthesis of protein nanoparticles. Okay, it has high resolution and more than 1000 times better than the optical reflection, and particle surface was scanned under the high energy electron beam. Okay. And the surface charge like zeta potential analyze is a technique for determining the surface charge of nanoparticles in a solution, which possess a positive or negative electrostatic charge. And zeta potential also helps to understand the nanoparticle surface and predict the long-term stability of the nanoparticles. And drug loading defined as the amount of drug bound per mass of polymer, usually in moles of drug per mg of polymer. And drug can be bound to nanoparticles either by polymerization or adsorption. And determination of drug entrainment is determined by the UV visual spectrophotometer or HPLC absorbance analysis. So the amount of drug in supernatant was subtracted from the total amount of drug added during formulation. Okay, and the calculate the percentage drug entrapment. And particle structure used to analyze the nature and modification in conformation, folding, and chemical bonding. And X-ray diffraction used to investigate the structure of crystalline material and also analyze their phase composition and crystalline size, shape, lattice structure. And Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy used to determine the functional group around the nanoparticles that used for the functionalization of nanoparticles. And cellular uptake of nanoparticle is determined by taking the nanoparticle with fluorescent tag followed by incubating these fluorescence tagged nanoparticles with cells and their visualization under confocal laser scanning microscope. Okay. Now, next part is biomedical application of protein nanoparticles. Okay, so protein nanoparticle can be used in various applications. Okay, so the in case of application, the route of administration is also important. Like some of the nanoparticles given by the oral route, and some of the particles are given by the nasal route, pulmonary route, blood-brain barrier route, ocular route, or non-viral gene delivery route. Okay, so there are various routes has to be focused before using protein nanoparticle as a drug delivery agent. Okay, so the protein nanoparticles has immunological adjuvant. Like gelatin nanoparticles are used as immunological adjuvant to enhance both humoral and cellular response to antigen. Okay, and these nanoparticles as a gene delivery vehicle to express the gene into the uh, epithelial cells. Okay, and these nanoparticles could be used as a, antibiotics. So in antibiotics, also protein nanoparticles show effective result, and antibiotics show an increase in efficacy or decrease in toxicity after binding to protein nanoparticles. And amoxicillin and gliadin nanoparticles bearing amoxicillin both show anti-helicobacter pylori, but the required dose for complete eradication was uh, less than in gliadin nanoparticle bearing amoxicillin. And according to the different types of disease, the application of protein nanoparticles have been explored in various fields. Okay, like it could be used to treat tuberculosis. So we know that tuberculosis is caused by bacteria called Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and if not treated on time, can be lethal. And medication for tuberculosis is available in market, but nanotechnology comes an emerging technology in this field because it provides the controlled release to the infected cells for an extended period of time via providing effective delivery system. Okay. Like rifamycin loaded gelatin nanoparticles cause less harm to normal cell than free drug. Okay, and rifamycin loaded gelatin nanoparticles were found to be accumulated in various organs as compared to plain rifamycin drug. Also, the rifamycin loaded nanoparticles will lead to improving the pharmacokinetics of drug, and it will provide sustained plasma level by enhancing the means residence time and area under the carbon. Okay, and the another disease which is leishmanias is a microbial disease that caused by protozoans parasite Leishmania donovani, and amphotericin B is a polyene antibiotic which is used for the treatment of visceral leishmanias. And amphotericin B loaded functionalized gelatin nanoparticles reduce the cytotoxicity and enhance the uptake of macrophages. And in vitro and in vivo study taken by uh, the drug, which is named 1,2-diacyl glycerophosphorine, coated with a gelatin nanoparticle loaded amphotericin B, shows a high accumulation of amphotericin B in liver and spleen, which enhance anti-leishmanial activity of the therapeutic agent. Okay, and another application of this protein nanoparticles in cancer. And cancer is generally a group of disease traditionally treated by chemotherapy and radiotherapy. However, there are many side effects in traditional therapy, namely drug toxicity, drug resistance. To overcome the fact that nanoparticles are being explored for targeted drug delivery, and paclitaxel chemotherapeutic agent loaded gelatin nanoparticles show in vitro and in vivo drug solubility in a rate limiting manner in aqueous medium. Okay, and intravesical paclitaxel gelatin nanoparticles show favorable bladder tumor targeting and decrease in the systemic absorption and reduced toxicity. And another disease where protein nanoparticles can be used, that is Parkinson disease. And Parkinson disease is a chronic disorder of central nervous system, which is primarily caused by loss of dopaminergic cells in the substantia nigra region that lead to the resting tremor, muscular rigidity, okay, and posture instability. And neuropeptide substance loaded gelatin nanoparticles revealed better cell viability and decrease the degree of apoptosis compared to the normal uh, therapeutic agent that used for the treatment of disease, uh, where the where the neuroprotective substance is a mediator of neuroimmunomodulatory activity, and neurogenic inflammation in the central and peripheral nervous system, and it could be used in a treatment of rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, as you know that rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease which affects the joint of the body and cause disability and joint damage and decrease the quality of life. And methotrexate is commonly used for the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis that has to overcome the specificity related to the inflamed tissue and increase the half-life. Okay, meantime, these methotrexate loaded nanoparticles show a decrease in synovial fibroblast and cartilage degradation. Okay, so these are the various marketed product of protein nanoparticles. Okay, the uh, carrier system is carrier molecules, okay, which has calcitonin, insulin, and heparin, okay, uh, loaded with protein nanoparticles that helps in the absorption of small molecule without altering the chemical nature, passive transport that has to cross the membrane. Okay, and the company which marketed this product is Hemisphere. Okay, so name of product is Elegant, and clear a product marketed by Altus. Okay, has the protein crystallization, and these catalyst containing the enzyme called dehydrogenase. Okay, has polypeptides, lipase, and protease. Okay, and Abraxis Bioscience marketed Abraxane, which is albumin bounded paclitaxel nanosphere, and its active ingredient is paclitaxel and found in the injectable suspension. Okay, so these are the some of the marketed protein nanoparticles. So, at conclusion, the development of nanoparticles drug delivery system is accepted to play a major role in treatment of various life-threatening disease, as it provides safe, effective, stable therapeutic effect. Whereas protein nanoparticles hold promise results in nasal, pulmonary, oral, ocular delivery of therapeutic agent and non-viral gene delivery and cross blood-brain barrier and immunological adjuvants, and also numerous protein synthesized nanoparticles like albumin and gelatin show advancement in commercial level. Recently, new protein are obtained from the plant, and milk can also be used in the nanotechnologies for the formulation of new drug, which shows some effective result. And advancement in various field of nanoparticles can lead to the enhancement in application of protein nanoparticles of treatment of various alignment. Although the application of protein nanoparticles for various diseases have already produced some exciting results and also hold some greater promise in near future. Okay, that's why the protein nanoparticles has a key role of a protein-based nanostructure that has recently revolutionized the nanomedicine era. And protein nanoparticles have turned out to be the major ground for the transformation of different properties of many conventional materials. Okay, now by virtue of their size and greater surface area to volume ratio, which instigates them to be more reactive to some other molecules. And protein nanoparticles have better biocompatibility and biodegradability, and also have the possibility for surface modification. And that's why these protein nanoparticles can be synthesized by using protein like albumin, gelatin, whey proteins, gliadin, legumin, elastin, gene protein, soy protein, milk protein. Okay, and the techniques for their fabrication include like emulsification, desolvation, complex observation, and electrospray. Okay, that's why the characterization parameter of protein nanoparticle comprise particle size, particle morphology, surface charge, drug loading capacity, determination of drug entrapment, and particle structure, and in vitro drug release profile, and pharmacodynamics, pharmacokinetics of protein therapeutic agent. That's why a plethora of protein nanoparticles application by a different group of administration are explored and reported by eminent researcher, which are highlighted here. Okay, so that's why we talk about the coming recent years. There have been a drastic increase in the research technology development at atomic and molecular and macromolecular scale, which lead to the control, manipulation, and study of structure ranges from 1 to 100 nanometer. And nanoparticle fit into the category of collider drug delivery system, which behave like a whole unit with respect to its properties and transport mechanism. So these are used as a drug carrier system to improve the cellular uptake as well as body distribution. And protein nanoparticle become the major reason for the changes in different properties of many conventional materials by virtue of their greater surface area to volume ratio than microparticle, which make them to more active drug carrier. And several types of nanoparticle system, which include polymeric nanoparticles, polymer micely, solid nanoparticles, lipid-based nanoparticles, liposome, solid lipid nanoparticles, nanostructure lipid carrier, lipid drug conjugate, liposomes, inorganic nanoparticles, dendrimers, magnetic nanoparticles, nanocrystal, nanotubes, and various types of materials used to prepare the nanoparticles, which include polymers, lipids, polysaccharides, proteins. So there are some criteria for selection of matrix material for nanoparticles preparation, which are size of the nanoparticles, desired drug release profile, and properties of drug such as solubility and stability and nature of the materials, that is biodegradability and toxicity. So that's why recently the biopolymer based nanoparticles, including protein nanoparticles, are actively used in the pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals due to their low toxicity and biodegradability. Okay, this is the difference. Now you have to attempt quiz. So protein nanoparticle prepared by the method. So in this lecture we have to discuss that these all methods could be used for the preparation of protein nanoparticles, like emulsification method, dissolution method, complex conservation method, and L. So answer D is correct. And albumin is a water-soluble protein, non-toxic, biodegradable protein, easy to prepare, non-immunogenic, easily attachable to covalent ligands. Okay, so all options are related to the albumin characteristics. And property of gelatin is easy to cross-link, easily sterilized, inexpensive in nature, no contamination with pyrogens. Gelatin type A has pH 7 to 9. Okay, so all properties related to the gelatin. And property of gelatin and lignin is biocompatibility, biodegradability, natural occurrence, non-toxic and stability, hydrophobic nature, and their solubility. Okay? So all options are correct related to the gelatin and lignin. And property of gene is it is non-toxic, stable, and biodegradable. Okay, so option B is correct. And protein nanoparticles characterized by the photon correlation spectroscopy, dynamic light scattering, atomic microscopy. Okay, so protein nanoparticles can be characterized by the one of these techniques, including scanning electron microscopy, zeta potential. Okay, so all these techniques could be used for the characterization of protein nanoparticles. Okay, so thank you everyone.